As a key component of its mission, NIOSH is dedicated to advancing the state of knowledge and application of personal protective technologies, including air-purifying respirators, which will be referred to as respirators in this video. Various types of these respirators, such as filtering facepiece respirators and elastomeric half-mask respirators, are used to reduce personal exposure to potentially harmful aerosols. The term aerosol includes both solid and liquid airborne particles of varying size, shape, and density that are often invisible to the naked eye. Whether it's a virus or bacteria, concrete dust, or engineered nanoparticle, it's important to understand that the type of particle does not affect its ability to be filtered. A particle is a particle. This means that respirators can be used to protect workers from a wide variety of aerosols. For example, respirators can be used to protect a healthcare worker who might be exposed to tuberculosis or other airborne pathogens. To protect a construction worker from airborne particles generated by sawing concrete, or to protect a laboratory technician who handles engineered nanoparticles. All respirators selected by Respiratory Protection Program administrators must pass NIOSH's stringent certification process. NIOSH certifies respirators based on how efficiently they filter airborne particles and how resistant they are to oil. For example, the most commonly used respirator is an N95 filtering facepiece respirator, which filters at least 95% of airborne particles and is not resistant to oil. To ensure optimum protection, respirator users should only wear respirators selected by their organization's Respiratory Protection Program administrators as being the most appropriate for their working conditions. As the user breathes and causes air to pass through the filter, the dense network of fibers in a respirator capture particles through a combination of three mechanical methods: impaction, interception, and diffusion. Some respirators contain charged fibers that use a fourth method, electrostatic attraction, to attract nearby particles. Impaction occurs when a particle's inertia prevents it from adjusting as the airflow carrying it into a respirator changes direction when it nears a filter fiber. In this capture method, the particle hits a fiber head-on and becomes stuck. Other particles can become attached when the airstream carries them within one particle radius of a fiber. This is referred to as interception. Diffusion occurs when smaller particles follow a random motion as they are bombarded by air molecules. Those that come into contact with a worker's respirator are captured by its network of fibers. With all of these capture methods, once a particle comes in contact with a filter fiber, it is removed from the airstream and strongly held to the fiber by molecular attractive forces. If the respirator contains electrostatically charged fibers, that charge will cause more particles to be captured. The method of capture is largely influenced by the characteristics of a particle, such as aerodynamic diameter, density, and charge. However, the filter's ability to capture a particle is not affected by whether that particle is a virus, concrete dust, or engineered nanoparticle. Remember, a particle is a particle. NIOSH tests respirator filters for their ability to capture particles that might be found in occupational situations. The conditions, such as particle challenge and the flow rate for certification testing of air-purifying respirators, are believed to represent near worst-case conditions for all types of workplaces, meaning the test conditions produce maximum filter penetration. This ensures that filters in NIOSH-approved respirators will collect hazardous workplace aerosols with very high efficiency. Based on the considerable collective knowledge of the scientific community regarding aerosol filtration, it is not necessary to test a respirator filter with a biological aerosol because certification testing applies a worst-case set of test conditions. Again, because a particle is a particle, when properly selected and used, NIOSH-approved respirators should provide the expected levels of protection against all types of workplace aerosols.